right, listen up.
All right, well, welcome everybody once again to the 440th VFW.
No. This time the members get to speak.
Hello, baby!
Yeah, hello everyone. Welcome to a special podcast of the 440th Virtual Fighter Wing. This time some members have taken over the recording studios, and we thought this is a great opportunity to give something back to our founders for all the effort and time they spent during the last 6 months. So this is a special present to Zeus, Dirk and Tyrant, and we hope you all enjoy it. My name is Nick, and I will try to lead us through this, and with me tonight are Boomer and Twister from the US. Hi guys.
Well, hello there.
Hi, how you doing? Thanks for having me here today.
Yeah, thanks for showing up. And next one is my friend from Israel. Hi Elf.
Hey buddy.
Glad to have you with us tonight. And next from Belgium is Pop Tops. Hi Pop Tops.
Hey there.
Yeah, and last but definitely not least, two guys from Germany. Here are Sly and Zeisig. Hello, boys.
Hi.
Hey ho.
Yeah, cool. And as you may have noticed, the recording sound a bit strange. This is because some members wanted to participate, but they were still on vacation. And we find a solution. That's why they recorded their sentences and answers and sent them in later. And I tried to get the best mix out of it. And I prepared a couple of questions. And the first question goes to Sly. Hey man, when did you join the 440th Virtual Fighter Wing?
Not a long time ago, it was in April this year.
Quick and short as always, Sly. Boomer, how did you find your way to the wing?
I joined pretty much right after the first VFW announced their departure to DCS, and was ecstatic when I saw Zeus's message about the 440th, so I would say probably almost the same day he announced it.
Okay, yeah, that's the way most of us joined the wing, and this is why I would like to ask Twister, who's not a former member of the first, how did you find your way to the 440th?
Well, I joined the 440th right after they got started. Probably about a month after the wing was founded, I got a hold of Demo, and of course we all know the first switched over to DCS, and Demo directed me over here to talk to Zeus, and the next thing you know, I'm first cadet in the wing. So that was kind of a proud moment for me when I graduated as your first cadet to make it through IQT, and that's pretty much my story of joining the 440th.
Yeah, great to have you on board, Twister. I mean, we had an awesome flight yesterday where only a couple of weeks after finishing IQT, you took over the flight lead position in an escort and you protected the whole package and we all come back home safety. That was really great. And I enjoyed it. And that leads me to my next question. What's the great thing about the 440th VFW for you? I mean, for me, it's the international flair and the way we do cooperative flying. But what's special for you regarding the wing, Zeisig?
Yeah, the real cool thing about this wing
Of course, it lasts for pretty much some time now. It has a history, and it's the quality evolved about quite a long time. You can see this. It's very, very professional in all that means of the SOPs and the IQT training. You can see it's nothing is too much, nothing is too less. So you can see all that stuff is very often thought about. You can see some people made pretty much many thoughts about it to make it just the right way. You can see that. Also, the IQT training was very impressive for me. So learning a whole fucking lot of stuff in only 6 flights, and with all the training and procedures you have, you always see what is the thing about it. So you always know what is the reason about it, and this is why you want to know about it, and this is why you want to be able to master it, because you can see in the outcome of a professional flown realistic campaign. All these things are things that they're not just there for their own, but they really make you better, and this makes you want to managing training related stuff more and more, and this is kind of fascinating.
Yeah, I fully agree with you, Sadek. And Elf, what do you think about the wing?
Grace, the thing about the wing is the fact that I have friends and people that I know from the past, a few of them more than I think 10 years. Like to fly with them, talk to them, even though I never saw them, but still, it feels like a family over here.
Yeah, that's exactly what I feel.
I think, first of all, the polite and adult behavior in this community. The discussions are conducted very objectively. I think this is something you don't see very often on the internet. The other thing is the striving for reality. I mean, the way it is possible in a simulation. It keeps up the imagination of being a fighter pilot, and I think that's what it is about.
Yeah, right.
Actually, very easy. Having everybody together with a lot of knowledge and a lot of people who are motivated and who are really know what they are talking about, and that's the most interesting part. And even more interesting is that you can keep on learning every time.
Fully agree with you guys, and I believe Zeus, Tyrant, and Dirk contribute a great deal to this. Yeah? They stay after each debriefing. They don't quit. They stay with us. They talk to us, and as you said, although you've been flying the simulation for more than 10 years, you can always learn from the others, and that's great about the sim and about our group, I think. Yeah, and by the way, who's the coolest guy, Zeus or Dirk?
Honestly, I'm going to it takes a while to
I think
get
you
I
also should take
personally
Tyrant
only
Wow,
know
it's hard to
Dirk
say
on the
from
spot
I
here.
speaking
think
to him
all
on
three
TeamSpeak,
are
and
very
I'd say
cool
he's
along for
definitely
the fact
cool
that
Well,
enough.
they
having fun
found
with
this
both of those guys.
wing in a very
Who's
short
cooler?
time.
Bit. I would
I think Nick
have
is
to
cooler.
step aside from that question. I really don't want to answer that one. Someone said Tyrant, I heard, so I'll go with that.
Alrighty, let's get back to flying with the wing. So, what is your favorite task? Where you feel most comfortable?
I don't have a specific task that I like most. It depends on the mood. But when it comes to the selection of the weapons that I like most, then I would say the Mavericks, without doubt.
Seed escort, bombing missions, that kind of stuff.
Favorite task is definitely seat escort. It just has a certain coolness factor to it, especially the guys from the Vietnam era paving that.
My favorite task, I don't know. I find it hard hard to decide. I prefer air to ground usually. Definitely the hard ones, the ones that we need to do pop-up or loft, or the unusual things.
Yeah, in fact, I like the seat escort role most because, yeah, these are the cool guys which go for the hot targets on the ground, like SA6 and SA17. These are the cool guys which also do a lot of air-to-air support. You go in fast, you go in high, so it's all about being very dynamic, being fast, and going after worthy targets. And you are the guys which are the heroes that make all the other guys survive and coming home. So in fact, it's seat escort. Other than that, preferred roles would be pure escort, related to my air-to-air role, starting in DCS, of course, and also very interesting is the dead role, going for some pretty much hot, dangerous SAMs like SA6, SA17, and using stuff like hunter-killer tactic and the classic wild weasel role to bring down some more dangerous SAMs. These are the ones which I like as very challenging flights most, and I think the F-16 is just excelling in these roles. The plane is almost built for that.
I like doing ground strikes. Anytime I don't have to deal with enemy aircraft when I'm carrying bombs, that's a good thing. I don't mind doing the caps and the escort flights and those kind of things, but I prefer to do ground work. So that's probably where I feel most comfortable.
Yeah, and very good answers by everyone. Thank you. And one question that just came into my mind is we have this ATO and the flight log since a couple of weeks available for all members and everyone who registered to our website. And I think they're great tools. Can only imagine how many hours those Dirk and Tyrant put into that. But what do you think about the air tasking order and the flight log?
A lot of improvement. Honestly, it's a very cool tool. Certainly in collaboration with the chat application, it gives you a great opportunity to see who is in, who is not, without going constantly to the forum and such kind of actions. It's a really a big added value to the activity. What can we still do is to make it, when you click on a mission, that every detail becomes available, like the briefing pictures and that kind of stuff.
Obviously both tools are pretty amazing, and it's amazing how much has been done in such a small relative amount of time. A cool feature would be if we could, say, upload or download ACMIs, being able to, if I missed recording a certain flight, I want to go back, and having maybe an archive for each flight with an ACMI, be able to download and review in case a member didn't record their own, would be nice.
Yeah, Twister, what do you think?
The ATO has come along quite a bit since I first got started with the wing, and I think it's actually at a point where it could be called almost a finished product. I don't know, you'll have to talk to Tyrant about that, but at the point it's at right now, I don't see that there's a whole lot that needs to be changed with the ATO. And as I understand, the flight log is actually still under development, so I am looking forward to see good things with the flight log. It's actually pretty good right now, but obviously there's some things on there that we don't have that I'd like to see, and I think those are coming soon, so we'll see what Tyrant has in store for us on that.
In general, I think the ATO and the flight log and everything is much better than the one we used at the first. I think the way you guys made it very user friendly. The statistics are actually collected and calculated in a much better way. and it's much easier to use it.
I think ATO and Flight Log are great tools, of course. Very clear and easy to use. One feature I wish for the Flight Log is to view my own flights, but it is very good as it is so far.
Yeah, I fully agree with you guys. And what's next? Is there a moment or a situation in Falcon BMS that you will always remember?
I pretty much remember very well the situation of one of my first campaign flights on the KDO theater, where we, the big heroes returned to Kunsan, and I was running into two Su-27s right on the doorsteps of our airport, and I did two glorious gun kills after finding out afterwards they were two friendly Su-27s for some allied country. I don't know even which it was, in India or Pakistan, but this kind of sticks to my mind.
Yeah, so there's quite a few situations. One that stands out was didn't really involve me per se, but it was a low-level ingress, of course high speed, at night, and there was another flight probably a couple miles about 1 o'clock, and it's just looking up at the right moment, at the right time, looking in the right place, and I just saw a guy fly right into the mountain with a puff of smoke. And I think it was Flounder, came over team signals like, very calm. I just flew into a mountain.
Oh, that's a hard question. Well, maybe I'd say whenever I was able to perform area refuel in an online mission, which I find it hard lately to perform due to either connection issues or whatever. I don't know, but that became the top of things that I need to perform, and whenever I'm successful, it's it fills me with satisfaction.
The moment that I got my nickname, I'll give you more information on a certain evening about that.
Okay, Pop-Tops, something you can explain in one of Tyrant's podcasts, I think. Who's next? Sly, what was your most memorable situation in Falcon BMS?
Well, let me think. It was still at the time we were flying Falcon AF at the 49th Black Diamonds. The task of our 4-ship was to destroy the Kuznetsov in a campaign. We had no harpoons back then, so we engaged low level with Mavericks. We sunk the carrier and all four made it back. I think the mission planner didn't expect that.
That's a good question. I might have to think on that one for a minute. So, I guess right now the thing that stands out for me the most is just maybe a couple of flights during IQT. The range is really fun. Actually getting in there and coordinating a racetrack kind of thing, making all the calls on base and in and off. Those types of things were really cool that I hadn't done before, and it was really kind of eye-opening, kind of like buddy lazing too. That was another situation in IQT where I really had one of those kind of aha moments where, wow, this is, a lot better than flying single player all the time. You just don't have those. There's some things you can do in multiplayer you just can't do flying by yourself. So for me, it's when you come across those situations, those are the things I remember the most about it.
Yeah, sometimes I can hear my heart pumping when I remember to the first time in IQT when I got to the boom and had to refuel, and I think it was three other members looked at you, and it's like you got your driving license and you have all your friends in the car and you have to park backwards or something like that. Yeah. My most memorable situation was back at the Freebirds. I was in a package two-ship seat, I think, and I was flying with Greenie, a very young and not that experienced pilot, and he was on my 5 o'clock position, and we were a little bit separated with the package, I can remember, because we already wanted to take out some SAM sites on the egress route. And suddenly he said, "Hey, 1, 2, I have a MiG-21 on my 5 o'clock." And I looked at my RWR. I asked AVEX, and picture was clear. And I said, "No, keep calm. I guide you through the mission. It's all good." And he repeated, "Hey man, there's a MiG-21 on my 5 o'clock." And yeah, I looked over my shoulder. I saw him on my 5 o'clock, but I saw no MiG-21. Again, checked the RWR. Again, asked AVEX, picture clear. And yeah, a few seconds later, I looked over my shoulder, and boom, he exploded, because the MiG-21 was directly behind him, and from my position I couldn't see, and that was such a memorable situation where I had the lesson learned. Hey, always count on your wingman and trust in them. And when they say, "Hey, I have a bandit on my 5 o'clock," then check his 6. And doesn't matter how experienced he is or not. And yeah, that was something I always remember. Okay, let's get a little bit more back in time. What was your first flight simulation?
My first flight simulator was for the TRS-80, or the Trash 80. Very early 1980s, maybe 1981. The Sublogic Flight Simulator 1. Black and white, low res, not even really an instrument panel.
F-15 from Jane's.
Well, I'm flying it actually. Falcon 4 was a game that I picked up at a Best Buy right after it came out. I'd just gotten a Windows 95 computer, and Windows 98 was already out by then, so I was just kind of lagging, but grabbed this thing off the shelf because it was $20, and thought, well, my computer ought to be able to run this. It's $20, so I picked up this box off the shelf, and it was awfully heavy. I didn't quite understand why it would be that heavy until I got home and opened it, and this 700-page manual fell out. But needless to say, I wasn't quite up to the standard of a flight sim type at that point, and it went on the shelf for quite a long time. But I did hold on to it and came back to it later, probably 15 years later, and now I'm flying the thing, and I feel I'm doing pretty good with it. So haven't really had any other experience with flight simulators. I downloaded DCS, the free module, a couple of years ago. Didn't really catch my interest. I'd already been into Falcon for quite a while, and that's just the one I've been sticking with, and really haven't played any other sims. I would maybe like to get into something civilian type or something like that, but just later on. Right now I'm too wrapped up with BMS.
First flight simulator, oh boy, that goes way back to the Commodore 64 time. I think it was Solo Flight at the time, which was the aircraft was shown at the top screen as a white cross with two black dots as the landing gear. Your mission was to transfer mail from airfield to an airfield. I think that was the first. And then, then came, I think, jet fighter, ATF, F-35 stealth fighter. That was at the time. I think it was F-35. I do remember it was called Stealth. F-15 by Jane's, U.S. Navy fighters, and all the rest. But Solo Flight was definitely the first.
It was Tomcat, a very simple F-14 simulation on the Atari 2600 console.
Yeah, really first flight simulation was indeed Microsoft Flight Simulator 1 on a monochrome monitor on an Atari ST back 1994 or something. The first kind of more serious combat flight simulator was EF 2000, the Eurofighter Typhoon simulator, in 1997, I think, which I really loved because of the music in the beginning and a very cool handbook. And of course, the graphics was outstanding for that time. Very cool, very cool ambience you had, and glaciers and the fjords of Norway, which was very cool. Yeah, very
that
cool.
sounds like a lot of experiences, I think. And when we come back to the 440th VFW, what else would you like to learn in BMS, or where could a continuous training help you?
I think what I would profit most is bigger campaigns, bigger operations, where you have to coordinate several flights in a package. So all that stuff which brings discipline to procedures, to comms, to coordination. And yeah, if it would be on a regular scale like Fiskars did with the Desert Paladin campaign, which is where I got started to campaigns after all. So which is once or maybe even twice a week, one time for the American time zone, one for the European time zone. So you have better chances to pick up some of these flights, which is sometimes quite hard for me to arrange in advance for 3 or more hours to stay there.
Yeah, I copy that. And Alf, what do you think?
Well, what else I would like to learn? I don't think it's a BMS related, but I definitely think that doing either flight lead course or something along those lines, that would be a good thing. I find it hard to I don't know if to lead, but to find the situational awareness, the doing the comms in English, which sometimes makes me think or not think. Maybe the correct word is to think before I translate, because thinking in Hebrew and then translate to English takes time, and that's a very expensive thing during 600 knots, 150 feet above ground. And that's pretty much it. Well, as I mentioned, flight lead stuff. And yes, I think that's it.
Yeah, I know what you mean, mate, regarding the translation stuff. Sometimes it's really hard. And okay, Boomer and Sly raised the hand. So what kind of training would you like to see here at the 440th VFW?
For me personally, would be tips for building good situational awareness, best practices made for gradually building a larger and larger picture of SA around you as the mission progresses. I seem to always be either tumbleweed or low SA. So yeah, I need to work on that.
I would like to see a continuous training similar to the IQT, which is, by the way, absolutely great. I mean, starting with IFF, for example, for 1 or 2 weeks, then going on with BVR and so on. I think this would help the wing members to stay in shape in all areas.
Yes, some really good points here, and I think we can all together build a CT for the future, and it doesn't have to lay on only two guys' shoulders, but every one of us can make continuous training, exercise, and we can enhance those every time we fly it, and yeah, I think this has a great future here at the wing. So I come to my last question. Would you recommend the wing? And what else have you always wanted to say?
Yeah, of course recommend. I mean, why else? How could you be in this wing and not?
Well, of course I would, but I would say that there's a bit of a requirement within the wing that you stay active. So if you're not the type to be committed to something, I would say it's probably not the place for you. But if you're looking for good people to fly with, and definitely two of the best instructor pilots in my opinion, I hope we'll get more in the near future if we keep recruiting cadets like we have been. And anybody who wants to fly BMS and wants to do it in a pretty professional manner but still have a good time doing it, I would definitely recommend the 440th. And that's pretty much all I've got. So thanks for having me, and we'll catch you next time.
I could just say it's a privilege and an honor to fly with these guys, and a LAN meetup would probably be tremendous fun, and be able to share a drink with these guys would be awesome.
I would definitely recommend the wing. No question about it. I think people here are serious. They're taking the sim not as a computer game, but as a, let's call it a real jet. The behavior is pretty much like in the Air Force. I would think about maybe sharpening the debriefing, but besides that, I definitely recommend it for people who wants to learn to utilize an F-16.
Yes, I would, definitely. I would like to thank Zeus, Dirk, and Tyrant for forming this new wing. It's amazing how much time and work they put in building up and maintaining this wing.
Now it's time to kick ass and chew bubble gum until all they're gone.
Yeah, nothing more to say. I would like to thank you, Boomer, Pop Tops, Twister, Elf, Seisig, and Sly, who showed up and sent their parts here to the recording studio of the 440th VFW. This was a special one, a gift to our founders, Dirk, Zeus, and Tyrant. Thank you, guys. We love you, and yeah, we hope to see you soon in the skies, and that you like this podcast like we did. And yeah, thank you, and bye bye.
See you later, mates. Have a lot of safe landings. Bye bye.
Bye.
Gotcha.
Clear skies and tailwinds.